So, we're going to talk about homeopathy. Hi, Rags. That's great. Yes, Surya. Are you from India? In India, you would have been brought up with it. Definitely. So, we're going to talk about homeopathy tonight, and I can see like some of the people are familiar. I don't know who is here who's not familiar with homeopathy. So I'll do it for the sake of, I'll just go into a little monologue and a little background on homeopathy, just for people who are not familiar with it at all. So homeopathy is over 200 years old. It's a science and it's an art. And it was discovered by Dr. Hahnemann. Dr. Hahnemann was actually a German physician. So he was a very successful physician of his time. And he became very disillusioned with the type of medicine that was used at that time, the butchery using mercury fumes and cutting people, and not that much different from now, but he just had enough. He was, I can't do this anymore. He literally resigned from his successful practice and he decided to he started just doing research papers on writing, doing all kinds of cataloging of ancient medicine, modern medicine, just research papers. That became his calling. And whilst he was doing all this research, the legend says that maybe he was, also reading a lot of ancient Egyptian texts. And the ancient Egyptians used infinitesimal amounts of herbal medicine, and that's when he started experimenting. And at the time they used to use a particular herb, a bark, for malaria, and the bark had terrible side effects. And actually they were talking about how they're going to use it now for the current situation. I don't want to say the name. And he started taking this bark. He started making a concoction and taking this bark. Hi, Noor. And he started to experience all the side effects. He started getting diarrhea, stomach aches, and sweating that usually exists in malaria patients. But he was healthy. He didn't have any problems. But the bark was causing those very symptoms that the bark is used to heal. So he started diluting this solution and taking it, and he realized that even as he was diluting this medicine, he was still getting the same results. He was still experiencing the same symptoms. And he just kept diluting and diluting and diluting until there was, and shaking, that's called succussing, until there was no more of the original substance, but he was still experiencing the symptoms. And that's when homeopathy was born. So it's like for like. That's how it was born. And the whole point was that when he was a healthy person taking this medicine, so he was experiencing the side effects, but in an unhealthy person, a person like with malaria, they could take the same medicine and be healed without the side effects that you experience with the crude material. And that's exactly how homeopathy was born. So that's what we do 200 years later. A patient comes to us, we match remedies. So you can have a remedy for every ailment. So if somebody came to us with hay fever and their eyes were watering, their nose was watering, I might give them a medicine called alum cepa. And alum cepa is basically onions. You dilute and succuss the onion until there is no more onion left in the original mixture, and you give that back to the patient with the hay fever, and their symptoms go away. And that's the basis of homeopathy. So what we came to talk about here tonight, and I don't know how many people are again familiar with using homeopathy, is to talk about the remedy kit. So, we really want people to be able to treat themselves at home. I don't have the 42 essentials, but this is the mother and child kit. And when you open it, you'll basically have a whole bunch of remedies inside. They're tiny bottles, and they come like that, and they're sugar pills. That's how homeopathy is dispensed. And the medicine is diluted, succussed, and then the carrier is the sugar. So it's actually sugar that you put under your tongue. It's not, the medicine is on the outside of this sugar pill. And then this remedy kit comes with a booklet. This is the booklet. And you basically, if anything comes up, so anything and everything. So if, let's say, we had a situation where maybe you had a cough, or someone in the family had a cough, one of the children had a cough, you will go through the list. There's a list of remedies in here, and maybe let me see how many there is on the cough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 remedies are listed in this little booklet. So you basically you try to read this when you are kind of healthy, because when you're coughing away, it's a bit harder. But basically, each remedy matches different symptoms of a cough, because your cough might be different from the next person's cough. When you go to the medical doctor, he'll just ask you, do you have a cough? And you have a cough, and he has a set of medicine. When you go to a homeopath and you say, I have a cough, that kind of means nothing to a homeopath. You have to give much more detail. Is the cough wet? Is the cough dry? Is the cough better when there's humidity? Is the cough better when there's cold? Is the cough worse for cold? How did it come on? Did you get a chill? Did you get a fright? There's so many questions that a homeopath asks in order to match the remedies. So let's say you had an asthmatic cough. So you might be using Arsen Alp, and Arsen Alp has wheezing, and it says here, like it says, an asthmatic cough with wheezing and frothy expectoration. There's burning sensation, constricted airways, making breathing difficult. So basically, you go down the list, and you can also buy other resources. So I get my patients to buy other books which are easy to find, and you get the cough section, and they go through the list, and you can treat anything like that at home. Any acutes can be treated at home. Colds, and what else is in here? There's so many different things that you can find in here. Arthritic pain, back pain, what else? Period pains. You can have sleep problems. There's a host of things that you can look up in your kit. Chicken pox, you can get remedies for chicken pox. Like just alone for chicken pox, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different types of remedies in this kit for chicken pox. You have cold, and there's a whole series of remedies for cold as well. So do you see? Do you understand how it works? And then you can take a remedy every couple of hours or every hour, depends on the intensity. And normally when patients come to me, I'm prescribing for their chronic situation, and I always ask them to buy themselves one of these kits so that they can help themselves at home. We don't want anyone to be dependent on any practitioner, whether they're medical or homeopathic or naturopathic. You should be able to help yourself, and really you can really help your family as well. A lot of people are freed from using, going for every little thing, because you can take the remedies and the symptoms will just go away. When they don't go away, then of course you will consult your physician or your homeopath. And generally my patients, I did, for a long time, and even now, I sometimes spoil my patients, and they can get lazy and, not even look into their kit, not even look into their booklet, just like send a message, I have a cough, what should I take? And yeah, it is sort of easier for me because I've been doing this a long time. I might just, off the cuff prescription, and I'll tell them what to take. But if I'm not around, you can even Google like your symptom, homeopathy, and you have your little kit in here. So I can see some of my patients on here. So whoever uses the kit, can say how useful it is. Hi, Alnud. Yes, Aisha. How long does the kit last? I have one of these, but I bought it around 3 years ago. They don't really go. I love you too, Aisha. They don't really go off the remedies. We're still using remedies from Hahnemann's time, over 200 years ago. So I think the sugar might go off, but the remedies don't go off. Test, I'm guilty of being guilty once or twice. Yeah, I think that's just generally what I do. I spoil my patients. And of course, it's easier to just message Niloofar because she comes up with remedies in 1 second. But if you just get used to opening your the booklet and going through, you get to know the remedies. So the next time you might not even have to go through your booklet, because what we find is that although there's 42 remedies in each kit, each family will use only a certain amount. whenever patients send their kit back to me for refill, I'll find that only 5 have been used. You know, each family has only 5 that they use. Please put your questions into the question box, because I'll just miss the questions, and I'd love to answer your questions. But when I go down and scrolling, sometimes I miss these questions. I can see something here before I go to the most important purchase in my life for me and my kids. Honestly, it really is. When I moved here 11 years ago, I made the intention that every other house in Doha, in Qatar, would have a remedy kit. And I can say I'm getting close. I'm getting close. And people are using it. I've seen it. Like once there was an article when homeopathy became regulated in Doha. Actually, one of these kits was in the newspaper article, and I was like, oh, there we are. It is in every other house. So that was my intention when I moved here. So I really want to propagate this kit. Unfortunately, I don't sell this kit. You have to go, and I prefer the one from Ainsworth Pharmacy. I have no share in Ainsworth. I should, because my patients keep it open. But you have to order it, and it does come, because homeopathy is not illegal in Doha. It is regulated. So once you've ordered it from Ainsworth Pharmacy and it's packed, you will be able to get it through the customs. If you're from England, you cannot order it in England. You have to go and order it. You can order it on the outside in Europe. You cannot order it in England. You have to go inside the shop, and you have to buy it from the shop. Unfortunately, sorry, I lost my camera. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to go to the shop, and you have to buy it from the pharmacy. Oh, where do we get the kit from? I just explained. It's from the one that I prefer is from Ainsworth Pharmacy, from England. But you can there's so many different types of kit that you can buy. My phone fell, and I'm trying to put it back on. Honestly, me and technology. So, what was I saying? Let's see. Yeah, initially when I kept asking my patients to buy the kit, and I was selling them, I think they thought like I was making some sort of money from these kits, which I don't. Honestly, I don't make any money from these kits. And when I stopped stocking them, they realized like how much it costs like to ship it over, but it's worth every penny. And if you're in England, it's worth going down to London and just getting your kit. There is the Helios kit, which you can get, but I don't like that one. It's a lot less remedies, and I don't find it as useful as the 42 Essential kit. If you're about to have a baby, then I would recommend the Mother and Child kit. It has all these remedies. Oh my goodness! It has all these remedies for things like mastitis and breastfeeding, teething, all kinds of things, for birthing, for labor pain, for anything that you can think of. And you can do all this by yourself. You don't really need a practitioner. Even though my patients are spoiled, you don't need a practitioner. You can do this by yourself at home. You can't, when it comes to chronic prescription in homeopathy, you can't do that by yourself. You need a practitioner. That's why we trained all those years and we saw thousands of patients. Otherwise, anyone could do it. For chronic problems like rheumatoid arthritis, chronic period pain, lupus, MS, I don't know, you name it, whatever, asthma, eczema, gut problems, all IBS. You might need the help of a practitioner. Yes, Julie, you are spoiled, and I enjoy it. I like it. I thrive on it. I don't actually know any other practitioner who prescribes as much as I have done in the past. Many years since I prescribe. On WhatsApp prescriber. Tess, yes, but it's my privilege. It is actually my privilege to help you. But yes, you're very welcome. So I just want to see if there's any questions in the question box. Let's have a look. There's 4 questions. Any remedies for increasing height for teenage boys? I think that's more of a prescription by a homeopath. That's more of a chronic prescription, which, you need to consult a homeopath for that. Depends if there's a pathology or if there's not pathology. Then if it's genetic, then I don't know what we can do. If it's if the child has gut problems, then you need to sort out the gut, because that can hinder growth. Where do we get the kids from? I think I explained that. Is there a remedy for weight loss? If there was a remedy for weight loss, I think I would be a billionaire. Okay, first of all, I would have used them on myself, and then I would have been a billionaire. But look, if you have Hashimoto, which is an autoimmune disease, okay, it's not it's not a thyroid disease. Hashimoto is not a thyroid disease. Yes, controversial. The worst medicine for Hashimoto is thyroxine, because then you get a thyroid disease too, as your thyroid stops working. So you have to work on your gut. The gut health is the most important in Hashimoto or any other autoimmune disease. And then yes, the weight will, stabilize. The easiest way to stabilize, to heal your gut is, it's not sugar pills. You need to sleep. I think sleep, if we could I might do a live just on sleep. What's the most kit that is useful? What does that mean? Where it can have a lot of remedies or something which is specific or better? This is the one I usually recommend. I really like the Ainsworth. It has 42 remedies. They're all in 30C potency, because the remedies we have 4,000 remedies. And this one comes in 30C potency. It's quite effective. And you won't use that many for each family, but each family will need different things. So you need to use the kit for a while and see what's relevant to your family and your family's complaints. I've tried a few remedies and I do see big results with little remedies. What is it to look to know a good source for homeopathy? You mean like, well, there's so many books that you can buy on the philosophy of homeopathy, or you can just get therapeutic prescription books. Like there's one here. Let me just go back to my thing. There's one here, and it's like, this one is for musculoskeletal problems, and really it's so easy to use. You just basically go in, arthritis, and it explains what arthritis is, and then you'll have a bunch of remedies in there, like 6 remedies: aconite, belladonna, apis, bryonia, kalmia, and pulsatilla. And each one will have different types of symptoms, because don't forget, everyone's symptoms are different. So if someone's arthritis might be very sort of violent and spasmodic. Someone else might have more stitching pain and inflammation. Someone might have more mental, emotional symptoms with the arthritis pain. So each remedy will be different, and you just take them and see. And if you've taken the remedy for like 10 doses and you don't see a change, then it's not the right remedy. Homeopathy is scientific, I assure you. If it doesn't work, you change the remedy. It's not a religion. No belief. You don't need to believe in anything. No belief is needed. We have one religion. That's enough. It's hard enough. Homeopathy is not a religion. The animals don't have, consciousness. It works on them. I've seen it with my own eyes. I train individuals who work with children and animals, lions, the remedies. I obviously I'm not a vet, so I can't directly treat these animals, but I train. I have one particular vet who treats, lions, and it works. So if it works for them, surely it's going to work for us. Sleep and gut health, both great ideas. Yeah, I think like we're going to do more gut work, but we're going to I think sleep is so important, more than sort of like sugar pills and broth and collagen and all these things. Nobody's sleeping properly. Get yourself, I know this is not relevant to this talk, but get yourself one of these watches where it monitors your sleep, and you will see. Let me just go up and see if there's any questions on the kit. Changed my life and you were so helpful. I don't know who this is. Who is this? Sulati. I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't have, I don't know, it's one of my Sulati patients, but I don't know who it is. You're welcome. It's my privilege and my honor to help you. Thank you, Vida. Love you too. Thank you. Any particular questions about the kit? Anyone who's not familiar have any questions? I think I've got more questions in there. And I need to sort of like learn how to... Do you prefer 30C or 200C? I like 200C. I really like 200C. I feel like it works a lot nicer. But honestly, the 30C is fine. What we find is that when you've used the kit long enough, And then what you can do is that you will go into the kit and see which remedies it is that you use a lot of, and then you can get those in 200C. Miss you too, Shaima. You will use the 200C, no problem, and I like 200C. And actually in a very acute, like a migraine or acute pain where the pain is quite intense, I use 10M. I'm known as the 10M homeopath. 10M, 1M, I'm not shy. I will use higher potency, but yeah, initially, honestly, 30C is fine. And when the remedies work, they're like magic. They work so quickly. Another question, growing pain. Yeah, there are remedies for growing pain, but you might need, homeopathy is a lot more specific. Like, it's not just growing pain. You need a lot more symptoms. So you need to know like what the growing pain is. Worse at night? Is it worse in day? How is the mental emotionals of the child, if it's a child? How are the mental emotionals and things like that. And the same remedies for headaches. There's so many remedies for headaches. And the headache, is it sinus problem? Is it a sinus related problem? Is it a period problem? Headaches with period. So you can get to the source of the problem. So you treat it. The homeopath will treat the chronicity, the chronic nature of the headaches. But you can use the remedy kit to treat the acutes when they come up. Is there a remedy for on general prescribing books to recommend? I really like Asa Hershoff's book on therapeutics. I've given all my books to different people, and I couldn't find any for the live, but I have like the musculoskeletal one, and I really like this one. And he has another one just for general prescribing, and it's excellent. It's really good. It's really detailed. I really, really recommend it. For acute, how often to take the remedy? If a couple of times an hour. Okay, yeah, it depends on the intensity. If it's extremely intense, you can use it even every 5-10 minutes. And if it's not so intense, you can use it every 3 hours. Each homeopath also have their preference, but I just think, like I studied with, one of the doctors I studied with is Dr. Ramakrishnan, and he treats a lot of cancer. And he was saying like in acute, you can give the remedy every 10 minutes. And if after 10 minutes you don't get results, please, it's not the right remedy. Like, it's not woo-woo. Like, it's not the right remedy. Reread, retake the case. You must have missed something. Also, etiology over symptomology. Did the problems come from a fall? Is arnica? Even if the patient is crying and you might want to give some other remedy that, matches the symptoms. The etiology was a fall. So treat the fall. Medicines for Tourette's and tics. Tourette's and tics are more chronic. They're more chronic prescriptions, so you do need someone to prescribe for the chronic. You do need a homeopath. You can't really eliminate the homeopath. But if there's like an acute situation, like somebody has tics, let's say they didn't sleep, they haven't been sleeping, children on too much electronics and they get tics, you might want to use Califos, for example, and you can just do that at home. You don't need a homeopath. You can just use Califos and you'll see it. Like if you write tics on Google, tics homeopathy, you might see Califos. Any remedies for growing pain? I think I answered that. Any other questions? There's another one in my question box. Headaches that occur during ovulation or just before periods. Depends again on the side. One of the remedies I found that I prescribe a lot of is sanguinaria for right-sided migraines, and they're hormonal, combined with belladonna. This is one of my favorites if you know what the remedies are. And let's have a look. Any other questions? Okay, I can't see that one. Again, I didn't pin the topic. Let's have a look, see if any more questions before we might wrap up if there's no more questions. Really, we continue the live depending on your questions and depending on your curiosity. So if it's everything. If you feel like, is that Jawahar Salati? So, any more questions? I can't see any more questions. So maybe our next topic could be sleep. I think sleep is a massive topic and very much under talked and understated. We need to talk about sleep and how quickly it can heal our situation. I've just got another question. Advice for someone who is when I remove both breasts and one ovary, don't want to remove another. I think that's the kind of question that you have to consult a practitioner for. It's not within the scope of, our life is about the kit. I'm sorry you've had to do that. But I'm assuming that you've seen alternative practitioners. If you've seen alternative practitioners, then they would have to take your whole case history and your timeline and give your recommendations based on all that information. So we can't give just like a quick, reply to a complaint like that. Does the kit give you the amount you need to take of each remedy? As I told you, each practitioner likes to use their own amount, but the booklet will tell you like take 1 hourly. I think if someone uses the booklet in the kit, I think it says it gives you dosage. And the kit actually even has a section for your pets. So you can even use the kit for your pets, and it has a section there. And it should tell you like take 1 hourly. As a rule of thumb, I like 1 hourly for 6 hours or 10 hours. And if it didn't work, if it didn't take any percentage off of your pain, of your complaint, then really it's not the right remedy. Like move on, change another. And sometimes the remedies seem all very similar. Then you have to maybe sometimes even alternate 2 remedies at the same time, because like they can sound similar. This is one of the complaints that I get. I don't know, I'm messaging you because they all sound so similar. So I've heard that before. What else? There's more questions in here. Let's have a look. How are tissue salts? Tissue salts are prepared differently. They sort of have a little bit of material. They have a bit of material dosage in them, and they're prepared in a different way to the normal homeopathic remedies. Gingivitis remedy, Hepasulf. We use Hepasulf, the Banerjees. So we've got like Banerjee. I like to use the Banerjee protocols for these questions. It does some homeopaths would have kittens with after cough, prescribing that I do, but they're based on the Banerjee protocols, and the Banerjees treat 5,000 patients a week. Okay, each practitioner treats 1,000 patients a week. People travel from all over India to go to this Calcutta clinic, and they have protocols. So gingivitis, Hepasulf, and they use that. They give that, and if that doesn't work, they've got a second line and a third line and a fourth line. So some of the recommendations I give, because sometimes I get asked, but isn't it individualized? Yes, it is individualized, but you kind of have, like, if you've treated thousands of patients, you kind of have an idea that the general populace, the 80%, might improve on these like 2-3 lines of medication. And that's why sometimes I just prescribe like Lyco-Ars for gas and bloating, and you see that on my posts, because these are general prescriptions. This Instagram, it's not consulting room. I'm giving protocols, making it easy. We're trying to make all this stuff easy and accessible, and try and tell everyone you can do it, you can help yourself at home. So try not to complicate things. I know I get some homeopaths messaging me, and they're kind of like complicating it for me, and it's like, I'm trying to make this accessible. I've worked hard to make this science and art accessible, and also to make people realize that you can do that home. You can do that home, and it's not a religion. Just give it a go. You might feel better. You might not feel so much pain after using the remedies. And wouldn't that be nice? That's nice. Any other questions? Yeah, you do really. Hi, Marta. How you doing? You really do need to match the symptoms with the nearest remedy to it. Yes, you really do. It works magically when you get the remedy right, but it's not always the easiest thing to do, to get the remedy right. So try to get a couple of remedies that sound kind of like they might work, and that might be just enough to get the results that you need. It's better than taking painkillers which have side effects. It's better than ending up on, sometimes people are like, oh, that's 2 remedies. You must have only 1 remedy. It's better than taking antibiotics. Do you know how long it takes for your gut microbiome to go back to normal after one course of antibiotics? Can someone answer me? I want someone on the live to tell me how long it takes. This is my question. How long does it take for your microbiome to reestablish itself, your God-given microbiome to reestablish itself? So don't forget, your gut is your second brain. To reestablish itself after one course of antibiotics. We're just talking about one course of antibiotics. So you go to the doctor and you say, I have, a throat infection. He hasn't even checked. He's not even sure if you have a throat infection. Is it viral? Isn't it viral? He tells you taking antibiotics. Do you know how long it takes to get the microbiome back together? So I've got a few questions. A year, 2 years, 6 months, never. 2 to 4 years, and it might be never, because you might completely destroy one particular one. 2 to 4 years, Mariam Tolba, and you might never replace some of the things that God given. Doesn't matter how much probiotics you take, doesn't matter how much fermented food, these things are going through you. It's not a joke. And people come to me and they always come with the same statement. Oh, I have this problem, but I don't know where it came out of the closet. No, it did not come out of the closet. It didn't come out of the closet. You arrived at that destination. It took that long to reach. And this is not me making this up. This is not your woo-woo homeopath telling you that, this is not me. This is what's been found in scientific papers. I will do a whole post that it takes 2 to 4 years or never to reestablish the microbiome that you were given. What is the highest source of antibiotics? Someone else answer me. I want someone to tell me what is the highest source of antibiotics. Someone answer me. Okay, this is becoming quite fun. Someone tell me, what is the biggest source of antibiotics? Is it from the doctor? Is it when you go to the doctor? Someone tell me. Yes, Vida, it's in meat and dairy. Please change the source of your, I'm not touting for veganism, but change the source of your meat and dairy. Meat. They're given antibiotics. Unfortunately, they're given antibiotics. They're given chemicals to grow, and it's not a joke. So all this stuff is, and our microbiome, we have in homeopathy something called the bowel nosode, okay? Bowel nosodes were actually derived from diseased, has anyone heard of fecal implant? You've heard of fecal implant, where they get the feces and they implant it into your gut in the hope that it will reestablish the microbiome so you can reverse autoimmune disease and all sorts. Well, we have an equivalent in homeopathy, and it's not so disgusting. It's bowel nosodes, and they derive from diseased matter, it's homeopathic, so there's no more of the diseased tissue. But when we give this stuff back to the patients, it reestablishes their microbiome. And I have been in the alternative industry for more than 25 years. Okay, a homeopath. I've been doing homeopathy and prescribing for people since 2005, but I was doing nutrition before that. And it's 25 years of me seeing this, is that I have not seen any probiotic that works as well as a homeopathic bowel nosode. Am I connected? Because it just said I got disconnected. Can someone say if they can hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, great. So this is the thing. So when you get involved in semantics of like, oh my God, I can't use 5 remedies. Please, we're talking about sugar pills that have no side effects, 0 side effects. At worst, the homeopathic remedies will not work. At best, they will work. And what is better, 5 sugar pills or an antibiotic that demolishes your microbiome and takes 2 to 4 years to undo the damage, or never? Which one is better? I know I'm going to take my chances with the 5 homeopathic sugar pills. And really, I invite you to do the same. If you've never used homeopathy, give it a go. It's not a religion. Okay, so We've been here for a while. If there's no more questions, I'd like to wrap up. Yeah, no, I got disconnected. With the connection was poor. Any other questions? Yeah, no, it's fine. So if there's no more questions, I'll wrap up. Sophia, you can come in. You can come in.
Am I allowed to see your light?
Yes, you are.
Are you?
Sophia's still not sleeping. Say hi. We're going to come off now. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the live tonight. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up next Saturday with another topic. If you have any topics that you like more information on, please let me know, because it makes it easier for me to create content for you that's useful. See you later. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi Mayan. Sophia, say hi to Mayan.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.